What's going on, guys? Here with another edition of Signature Sundays, week 4 already, so time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But nonetheless, got another huge haul of signatures to show, so we'll get right into it to hopefully save a little bit of time on these videos. So first one I got a Chew Image First #1. Unfortunately, I'm still looking for that first printing of Chew #1, but this one is signed by Rob Guillory. Actually, I think I got this one in a lot from Who Dat Comics and Movies. I got an auction from him, and he threw this one in, so big thanks for that. I've actually met Rob Guillory before and John Layman. When I met him, I bought this sketchbook in 2012. Rob's on top there above Pollo, and right below Pollo's beak there is John Layman's signature, so cool to have like a sketchbook from them that they sold exclusively at cons. Next up, I got a Paul Jenkins signed Civil War, Wizard World Chicago, Frontline. Wow, that's a mouthful of a title. But you guys know how comic spinoffs go. And he, for some reason, drew himself on the cover, so there you go. he was always a fun guy when he went to these things. He would have a lot of, he'd usually either be hungover or have a lot of funny stories. So Paul Jenkins is a lot of fun to talk to. Next up, got around to Civil War books once again. So Civil War issue 3. Ed McGuinness variant. I was trying to think of that cover for a second. And I apologize, I didn't have a chance to rebag all of these, but I will definitely do that before I put them back away. But this one's signed and personalized by Steve McNiven. So if you got, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, Steve McNiven now, he didn't used to personalize, but now it's either like he personalizes it or charges you $5 not to. So if you're wondering why some of mine are personalized and not, that is why. So this one, I didn't didn't want to didn't need to pay $5 to not have it personalized because it's still gonna stay in the collection. So there's issue 2, and then before he started all that fun stuff, here's issue 1, not personalized because he wasn't charging at the time. So there's an issue 1 signed by McNiven. Next up, here's an image series called Cowl, and I got to meet the entire creative team at I think it was C2E2 whenever this book came out, like the first 5 issues. So I got signed by Kyle Higgins, Alex Siegel, and Rod Rice. So all 3 of them have signed this book there. And I had the first 5 issues, so figured why not get it signed. So all triple signed on this. Issue 3 is triple signed as well. I like the way the signatures actually pop up really nice on that. There's issue 4. And then the last one I had in triple signed was issue 5. So always love getting my books triple signed in one foul swoop. So couldn't resist that. Next up, I think I got this one signed at Cincinnati Comic Expo 2017 or 20. I think it had to be 2017. Got a Creech #1 signed by Greg Capullo. Definitely, everyone had like Batmans and stuff. I wanted to get something signed by Greg Capullo that, you know, it was his property and he worked on himself. You know, without DC or Marvel, obviously. So he signed it in cool silver right there. I think he was kind of actually happy to see someone bring some Creech. Next up, I know this is going to be the final year that George Perez is kind of making the rounds at the Comic-Cons. So always happy to show off some George Perez signatures because he's always one of the nicest guys to talk to at these things. And Crisis is probably my all-time favorite read ever. So here's Crisis on Infinite Earths issue 6. And right above Anti-Monitor's eye, there's the George Perez signature right there. But I couldn't stop there. I had to get at least the first 6 signed. So it's issue 5. I always like this cover just because it has like all the Earth 1 and Earth 2 faces on it. But sign it right there next to the Wonder Woman, I guess you could say, or Wonder Woman, whatever you want to look at that. Next up, got issue 4. And this is the Death of the Monitor. Once again, signed by Perez, right below the corpse of the Monitor. Issue number 3, and about the only spot he could sign it where his signature would actually show up is right in the middle over the planet Earth. So once again, absolutely love this series. Issue 2, Perez Sig right there by Superman. And then on issue 1, not only do I have it signed by George Perez right in the center of the book, I got it signed by Marv Wolfman as well, so that's always great. And I believe this one is a newsstand. So there you go, newsstand of the day, Crisis #1. So lucky to have that one double signed. That was one of my kind of bucket list signature grails or something like that, however you want to call it. So happy to have that. Next up, I got a Curse Words #1. This was the variant that came in the Image blind boxes in 2017. Got it signed by Ryan Brown, who is the artist on this book. So pretty funny book if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out. And it's a cover swipe of Savage Dragon #1, obviously. That's why he has the fin. You wouldn't even know it otherwise if it wasn't for that fin. And then the last one, and the first box there, we got Cyberfrog issue 1. This is from the Harris run, so I think it's technically like Cyberfrog Volume 2, basically. And it's signed right above Cyberfrog's Eye by Ethan Van Sciver. Got this one signed at a Wizard World. I'm trying to think, it was probably like 2009, 2008, something like that. And I remember getting it signed by Ethan because not too many people, I mean, people kind of go crazy over Cyberfrog now just because of, you know, all the stuff that's gone down with Ethan Van Sciver and people getting his back. But when I got this signed, not too many people took Cyberfrogs to get him to sign. Mostly it was Green Lantern and stuff like that in his DC work. I think even Flash Rebirth was out by then. But when I brought this up to him, he actually, I don't even know who it was, but he took a guy behind him at Artist Alley, and he actually took this book out of the bag, started flipping through it and showing him stuff he liked. And it was, I always like seeing artists and stuff like that really go crazy when someone brings a book that, you know, they don't usually see. But yeah, super cool to have that signed by Ethan Van Sciver. So that was box number 10 in my collection, I guess. So it's probably like there, I think. Yeah, close enough. All right, so box number 11. I got a lot of Daredevil to show. I love me some Daredevil. He's probably my favorite Marvel character, I guess, if I had to pick one. So I have a lot of runs and a lot of stuff signed that's Daredevil. So the first one is Daredevil issue 50. This is that, I believe, if I remember correctly, this is that cool like prison fight basically between Kingpin and Daredevil. Shades of what happened at the series finale of that awesome Netflix series, which I recommend watching the end of Daredevil season 3 because a lot of people I talk to have not watched the finale of that, and it's very good. But nonetheless, I got this signed by Bendis and Alex Maleev, so absolutely love that run. And then the first Daredevil comics I bought that were Bendis, I got this set a long time ago at my local shop. So back when I met Bendis and Maleev originally, I only had these $5, so I just got them double signed, each of them. So this very cool Black Widow cover signed by Bendis and Maleev again. 62, same thing. And I like how they use the silver Sharpies so you can actually see on these like darker tone covers that Maleev does. Issue number 63, just another awesome Black Widow cover. Like how Bendis side right in the middle of the spider there. And this one's pretty funny. For some reason, they both decided to sign right on Black Widow's bottom there. So I didn't realize that until I was rebagging this one. So I thought that was really funny. But yeah, issue 64, just another great cover there. And then here's issue 65. This was his 40th anniversary special. Got it signed by Bendis and Maleev as well. I keep meaning to get this signed by other creators, but sometimes you take so many books like that, you just kind of forget to take other books like this. But I've definitely met a lot of people who've worked on this book, so I wish I had more SIGs on that, but stupid me forgot. And then I love the Mark Waid Daredevil run. I know some people are, they criticize Mark Waid a lot, but he's one of my all-time favorites. So I definitely have a lot of Daredevil from him. But I also like Chris Samney and his art on this run. I think he was actually nominated for an Eisner Award because of the run he did on here. So here's issue 34, signed by Chris Samney there. And then 35, bottom once again. Here's a cool cover on issue 32 that he signed at the bottom. And then issue 33, once again, signed right over Daredevil there. And then 24, I got double signed by Mark Waid and Samney. Like I said, I really like this run, so I met these guys a couple years in a row, and I had to take my Daredevils each time. So once again, double signed, 2013 C2E2. Love it when they date the stuff, so it jogs my memory. So C2E2 2013 double signature there on issue number 22. Same thing on 23. So I liked how they didn't have the silver Sharpies, but at least they signed so you could see it. And then if I remember right, 21, it's either 18 or 21's the first Superior Spider-Man, but I got them double signed there. And, like I said, 18, just in case that's why I couldn't remember, got double signed by him there as well. We're not done with Mark Waid yet. I got issue 7 signed by Mark Waid right there. And I think this is probably the best single issue of that whole Mark Waid run. It's the one where there's like him and a busload of kids are caught in a snowstorm. And obviously Daredevil, in a sense, is that they don't like snow and blizzards, so the kids actually have to help Daredevil, and he has to guide the kids, and they have to get out of the snowstorm working together. So this one's a very nice read. And then I got a blank copy signed by Mark Waid as well. So happy to have an issue 1 beginning of that run. And then Marvel, all new now, wackiness aside in that stuff, they kicked off another run. So this one is signed by both Mark Waid and Chris Samney once again. And I forgot I had 36 in the same bag, signed by both of the gentlemen. So happy to have that whole stack signed by them. Next up, love me some Darkness, some 90s Image, Top Cow goodness. Got this Image 1/2, Wizard 1/2 with the Certificate of Authenticity, of course. And this is the, there we go. Mark Silvestri, awesome signature. I love Silvestri's signature, even though it takes up the entire book. I always like it. So we got some more Silvestri stuff coming later, but I always like seeing his signature on my books. Next up, I got Darkness 75. This one is signed by Phil Hester, right there. And when I got these signed, I think it was had to be C2E2, probably 2011 or 2012. He actually did a Darkness sketch in my sketchbook, which I've showed off in the past. Here's a funny one. I got a Darkness 84. Actually, let's show the A cover first. There's the A cover, signed by Whilce Portacio right there. And then I got this C2E2 exclusive. This is probably, had to be 2010 or 2011. Or actually, yeah, because I think I bought this and I got signed later down the line. But I got signed by Whilce Portacio there. Phil Hester there. But this is actually the Lance Briggs variant. So Lance Briggs was a special guest at C2E2 one year when he still played for the Chicago Bears. And for some reason they put, I guess he really likes the Darkness because they had a Darkness exclusive cover with Lance Briggs on it. So I wish I could have got this signed by Lance Briggs, but I just missed him. So I always laugh when I see this cover just because you don't see football players on Image Comics every day. And then the wrap up, box 11, I got some Dawn from Joe Michael Linsner. So here's Dawn 1/2, and I don't know where my Certificate of Authenticity went for this one. It's probably inside the bag, but he signed it Wizard World Chicago 2008. Always like his signature too. Here's Dawn number 3. This is, for some reason I got the bag switched around. So there's a Certificate of Authenticity. It's just in the wrong bag. But I got Dawn issue 3. This is the only issue of Dawn I could ever find as a kid because when they were in the 90s, Wizard hyped up Dawn big time, so you couldn't find these too often, but this is like the only one I could ever find. Once again, signed in 2008 at a Wizard World, and then I think it was Wizard World 2006 I got this one signed. I just bought a sketchbook from him that he had on sale because I didn't have those books on me at the time, but I think his signature was really good in 2006, so just a beautiful signature from him there. So that wraps up box 11. And then box 12 might be the shortest one yet, but it's no big deal because there's still some great stuff in there. So I got this, I don't even know what this comic is. It's a Valiant called Dead Drop. I got it in a mystery box called Comic Box where I did that way back when. I think, yeah, it says 2015. This was signed. Actually, they're nice enough to include a Certificate of Authenticity, but Adam Gorham. So never heard of him, but nonetheless, I got a signed comic from him. Here's a bit of a rare, I guess, at this point. I got a Dead Rabbit ash can signed by Jerry Duggan. He was handing these out last year at C2E2. So I'm guessing most people watching this know the crazy history of Dead Rabbit already. There was a bar in New York or something like that. It was called Dead Rabbit. They had it trademarked, so they had to ixnay this whole series. So everything on shelves got recalled. So this book's seen a little bit of heat because of that. So it's cool to have that. It's actually a good story. It only ran 2 issues, unfortunately. So hopefully they can rename it or something and get it re-released soon. Here's another book that's seen heat lately. I got Deadly Class issue 1. Got it signed by Rick Remender, C2E2 2013, right in the center there. So cool book to have in a collection. Here's one of those books I pick it up every time I see it in dollar bins and stuff. It's always a fun one to get. And this one's signed by Whilce Portacio, right there above the Image logo. Deathmate Black. They're all issue 1s. I don't even think it's an issue number. But Deathmate Black. I always like getting this book because it's first appearance of Gen 13. And it's just one of my favorite 90s throwbacks is Gen 13. So happy to have that one signed. Wish I had more signatures on that, actually. Next up, we got some Deadpool action. So I don't have a lot of signed Deadpool, but I got issue 2. And all these are triple signed. Jerry Duggan, I got him to sign that when I got that Dead Rabbit ash can. Tony Moore right by the elephant there. And then I actually got to meet Brian Posehn, the comedian. So he's the one who worked on this. He was signing. He only did like one signing his whole show. It was at the Marvel booth, and he was nice enough to sign all the Deadpools I brought. So once again, same story here. And I like how Tony Moore had to sign right on Deadpool's crotch. So that made me laugh as soon as I saw that too. But also signed by all three of those gentlemen. Got issue 4, same deal, where he's punching Zombie Lincoln. I'm not the biggest Deadpool guy in the world, but this run was a lot of fun. Posehn actually absolutely knocked it out of the park. I hope he does more comics one day. But yeah, absolutely love those issues, especially that first run of 5, because they had Tony Moore doing the art on the first 5 issues. Then the last book of today, I got this Deathstroke versus Batman. I guess it's Deathstroke number 30. And it was actually signed and nicely personalized by Priest. Got to meet him last year at C2E2 2018, and he was a really nice guy. I took some steals to get him to sign as well, and he was very happy to talk about Steel. And I got to tell him how that was one of the first things I ever subscribed to, like when I was a kid, because that and Superboy and the 4 Superman books were the main ones I was getting in the mail at the time, so we enjoyed that story. But yeah, Priest, he was a cool guy to talk to. So that is the final book of the day, so I guess we'll get into the driveway totals. So box 10, that was the first stack. Equated to 20 books, 32 signatures. Box 11, 28 books, 43 signatures. I think that might be the best yet. And then box 12 was the little one, 9 books, but still 17 signatures out of those 9 books. So the totals for this week, 57 books, 92 sigs. And then the most important, the overall, it's 248 books, so we're almost to 250 already. We're only like on the start of shelf number 3, so that's very promising. And then 336 signatures so far. So yeah, we got a long ways to go, so I'm really curious to see where this total is going to end up. But nonetheless, if you guys are watching this on the premiere, thank you so much. On the rewind as well, thank you guys so much for watching. Just one final plug real quick. Tuesday night live stream, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. I'm hoping this week we'll have the Who Dat Comics and Movies Tacoma Comics, that Spider-Man booth unboxing. But if not, if we don't get our boxes in time, we'll just do the normal live show format, so stay tuned for that. And then also shout out to Discovery Bait Comics for plugging this show and the Tuesday night live stream each and every week. He is doing some phenomenal work in the community. But with that being said, I haven't done this gimmick in a while. Sting, he's coming down in the rafters. We got to leave the tape machines rolling. The NWO's coming to ring.